The second half of 2014 has been pretty good for racing games after a strong initial performance from Forza Horizon 2. But after a few delays, Drive Club pulled in with a less than satisfactory position, leaving it up to Ubisoft's The Crew to finish the year strong. But after such a phenomenal first few laps from Horizon 2, would there still be any competitive chance for an up-and-comer in the running for the best racer of the year?
Hey Harry, I'm here.
We happy?
Oh, we happy.
Racing games tend not to focus on story very much, and while The Crew makes a modest attempt at one with some impressive FMV sequences and constant dialogue, it doesn't break any new ground in that department. It's typical action movie fluff involving murder and a setup that can only be rectified by racing your way to revenge. However, where The Crew does manage to break ground and truly set itself apart is in its outstanding world design. What Ubisoft has managed to do with its scaled-down version of the continental United States is nothing less than astounding. While cruising around the Mediterranean earlier this year in Forza seemed like a great achievement at the time, The Crew really puts things in perspective. This is hands down the best environment ever created for a racing game. Not only is it one of the largest network of roads available to race along, second only to 2009's Fuel, but it also offers a staggering amount of variety and detail that is unseen in most games of this size. While it's by no means an accurate map of the United States, it certainly creates the feel of it, as many of the major cities, such as New York and Los Angeles, are represented, as well as various geographical landmarks like the Rocky Mountains, Everglades, and the Grand Canyon beg for a visit. I've been playing racing games for nearly 2 decades now, and The Crew managed to compel me to do things that I've never done. During my first day of playing, I decided to group up with Val and go on a road trip. The next 6 hours involved us driving from the East Coast, through the Grand Canyon, race flat out on the Bonneville Salt Flats, swing by the Santa Monica Pier, then journey through the Redwood National Forest up north to visit the Space Needle in Seattle, and head back through the snowy peaks of the Northern Rockies. The entire trip was a complete departure from the critical path of the game, and just something we felt like doing, enjoying every minute of it. That sense of exploration and level of freedom is something that I feel is lacking in games today, especially when you've played and seen as many worlds as I have, and I certainly appreciate when a game can bring back that sense of wonder that becomes more fleeting every year. While The Crew doesn't make a strong visual impression initially, it manages to do some impressive things behind the hood. The somewhat dull, immediate surroundings and car models allow impressive draw distances for the massive world. If you're parked on an elevated scenic viewpoint, expect to see the skylines of various cities from miles away. You'll also be able to quick travel from area to area after you've explored a location almost instantaneously with virtually no loading time. In addition to this, there's a nice feature of being able to zoom into any other racer from the overhead map and see them driving along, as well as the traffic and buildings they're racing by, as if you were spying on them from a CIA satellite. The initial starting location in the Midwest and Detroit area also don't showcase the most visually appealing areas of the game, because let's face it, they aren't the most diverse and scenic places in real life either. While there are a limited amount of weather effects such as snow and fog, for some reason rain is absent, even though the sky will regularly look like it's about to open up in a torrential downpour. Aquaplaning around drenched roadways would have brought much to the visual diversity, and it's unfortunate that it wasn't implemented. Another thing that The Crew brings to the table is a fully cooperative experience. After the first few missions, you'll be able to join up with 3 of your friends and seamlessly play through the entire game together. It isn't a stretch to say that this is the way the game was meant to be played, blasting around corners trying to slam into or avoid your friends depending on how you're feeling, as you race the aggressive AI, is a level of enjoyment that few titles offer. If you're playing alone, you might be a bit disappointed with the experience, so try and bring some friends along for the ride. You'll also run into plenty of other players as you explore the country, creating fun impromptu races or just slamming into each other and honking at them like madmen. The car selection is a bit sparse compared to games like Forza, with about 40 different models to choose from. However, this is rectified a bit with a robust customization feature that allows you to turn most of the cars into various versions of themselves, ranging from tightly tuned circuit machines to Mad Max-esque off-road monsters. There's also a variety of visual customization and body kits you'll be able to apply depending on the vehicle, as well as an RPG aspect to upgrading your vehicles. Each race will award you with performance parts that will gradually increase the vehicle attributes, making it more competitive as the races increase in difficulty. It's a pretty simple system that doesn't allow for any tuning, and it can be a bit of a grind once you've beaten the game, and you're attempting to install the top-end parts into your ride. However, it does create a sense of attachment to each car, as you can upgrade your starter vehicle to compete all the way through the finale of the game if you choose. The symphony of the combustion engine as it roars out of its exhaust system isn't up to the level of Forza, but it works well enough. There's a few radio stations with an adequate amount of diversity between styles of music to choose from, but nothing out of the ordinary. The cars handle pretty well depending on what vehicle you're working with, offering taut controls on circuit tracks and loose bouncy suspension on off-road expeditions. However, if you're someone that relies on the rewind feature of other racing titles, you might want to veer away from the Crew, as it offers a satisfying challenge more akin to the Midnight Club series with unforgiving traffic and tracks. With some of the available races taking up to several hours to finish, this can be an issue for some people. But when you set a new world record, you'll feel like you've earned it. There can occasionally be latency issues and disconnects with the online always component of the game, but it tends to work well most of the time. There's a plethora of activities and races available through the Crew's various playlists and features, but it still feels light as its world begs for even more races than are available. A track editor option giving the player the ability to place their own checkpoints would have been an immensely beneficial feature to have implemented, but unfortunately it's absent. The Crew, in many ways, is one of the best racing games in years. However, it's for a bit of a niche market, one that doesn't get a lot of attention though. It's for people that want an adrenaline rush, finishing a 40-minute race with 3 other competitors nipping at your bumper. It's for people who want to have an almost Borderlands-style experience with their friends behind the wheel of a 3,000-pound machine. And it's for people who want to escape and enjoy exploring a virtual world where they and their friends can truly enjoy the road, whether they're competing or just enjoying the view. Whether you love it or hate it, the Crew manages to challenge the status quo of racers and offers something new. This isn't a simulator. There's a chance at some point you'll be flying down a ski jump, starting a high-speed pursuit through the mountains as you attempt to crash into a hitman. But fortunately for this reviewer, someone who holds the Midnight Club franchise as the holy grail of racing games, that's exactly what I was looking for.